In the last episode, we covered the first two maturity levels of affiliate marketing organizations, and I left you with some tactical things you can do to increase your maturity level and therefore your effectiveness of your affiliate marketing organization. Today, we're going to talk to the 301 and the 401 levels, and we're going to close with some specific things you can do so that your organization's operating at the 401 level consistently and sustainably. And that's what's ultimately going to maximize your chances of winning share in this channel. So let's get into it. Okay, let's talk about level 301. This is probably my favorite level for a number of reasons, mostly because I think it's the most dynamic. It's also the level where I find most organizations ending and finding home here and hanging out for a really long time. So I feel like I have the most data on 301 type lenders. I've been calling it the feedback loop aware level. I think if I had to come up with another label, it's the information overload level. I'll get into why in a second. But we're noticing that affiliate, we're doing it at scale. We're doing it for real. We're investing in the right teams to support it. It's cross-functional. We're noticing this is complex. It's nuanced. And we don't fully feel in control anymore of the outcomes, because the variance is high, and when we see variance, it scares us, and now we have to be accountable to our CEO or our board or our CMO, and we don't always have the answers. This makes us feel stressed, tense, uneasy. Emotionally, that's where we're at here at the 301 level. Versus at the 101 and 201 level, our emotions weren't super engaged over there. We were blissfully unaware, and now we have sufficient levels of concern and worry about things that we can influence but we can't always control. So the aha moment here at the 301 level is that every time we make a change, we learn that the affiliate responds with a change of their own. So we discover these feedback loops, and we would like to be able to control them or at least predict them. We also realize our programs are rarely in a steady state. So there's observation at the 301 level. This one, most folks get there empirically. So they do something, they see the publisher react, and it's like, okay, I expanded my underwriting, my approval rate went up, and my affiliate rewarded me with slightly better ranking and more volume. It's okay, that's cool, because I was expecting 5% more accounts, but I got 15% more accounts. Like, what happened here? So that's an example of how folks see it empirically. I mean, you can also just get here from first principles, right? If you realize that many affiliates are optimizing on monetization, so then we know if something we did will decrease the monetization of our ads, the affiliate may be likely to de-emphasize our ad because maybe now a competitor's ad is more attractive to promote than ours. So you can get there kind of just through logic, through first principles, but I find that organizations new to affiliates, or when it gets to this level of nuance as to how they're building affiliate, they're just like, whatever, I'm just going to do stuff. And once I start to see something in practice that makes me want to handle it differently, then I'll deal with it. So let's talk about how organizations operate at the 301 level. So strategy. So here we're saying, and we kind of define this is a difference now. We're saying we're not winning unless we're gaining market share. So we kind of realize, okay, these ecosystems are producing some amount of volume, some amount of card applications, personal loan applications, auto refi applications, etc. And that's just, to some degree, it kind of is what it is. That's not totally right, because depending on the offers present in the marketplace, that could boost response rates and increase the pie. So yeah, you can definitely show up and increase the pie. I'm not saying that's not a thing, but generally at 301, we're operating with some scale. We're relatively, we have more than, call it 10, 15% of the market in the category where we play. And we want to continue to either preserve our very strong market share or keep building on it. We're also investing in custom products and experiences for affiliates. So no longer is it one size fits all across our publishers. We're understanding that there's benefits to customizing what we do, either on a product level or a application flow level or a credit risk level, to unlock more volume in each of these publishers. So we want to activate the growth flywheel. When you have attract higher quality applicants, leads to increased conversion rate, leads to improved ad position, which leads back again to attracting higher quality prospects, which again increases conversion, which again improves ad position. And again, you want to be in the growth flywheel. So this flywheel may not apply to all publishers. So it's actually worth an explicit conversation. Does your channel behave this way? And should I pay attention to this flywheel, or does your channel or site or ecosystem operate differently? And if it's different, walk me through it. And then there's the negative version of this, where I attract lower quality prospects, which reduces my conversion rate, which worsens my ad position, which again leads back to lower quality prospects, which again reduces my conversion rate. And again, I'm spinning, but in the wrong direction now. So again, not necessarily applicable to all publishers and affiliates, but a dynamic certainly prevalent in the space in general. Okay, so those are some strategic things on our mind now. We have more to think about. Let's bring in the analytics team now. Our metrics are multiplying. Now we're studying each funnel step. It's cut by credit segment. So that could be a bespoke model you've built internally that predicts risk, or it could be something like FICO. It's cut by product type. So is this the AMF or the non-AMF version of my product? It's trended over time. So how's my application rate doing over time? How's my approval rate doing over time? For affiliates where we run credit-based targeting, so this may be sites like Credit Karma, Experian, Credit Sesame, Wallet Hub, where you're loading specific credit bureau-based targeting rules. We might start to watch things like decline reasons, compliance metrics, attribute level monitoring. So these are things your stat team tends to watch for any internal risk model. We may start to watch how attributes are moving on our targeting model. So again, our sophistication has actually built materially from the 201 level, where we're kind of looking at early DQs and stuff like that, where now we're paying a lot of attention to not just the outcome, but maybe kind of some of the determinants of what leads to those outcomes. So what else is the analytics team doing? We're armed with more information, but that doesn't add up to more knowledge or insight always. And that's because the metrics move in ways we can't always explain. And the reason for that is affiliate is changing things on their end, the placement of our ad, who they're putting it in front of, how the ad looks and feels. There's a number of things that they control that sure we can influence and ask them to do differently, but they don't always report on those things. We don't always see those things. And thus, now we have variance in our numbers that feel like they're nonsensical or don't make sense. But if we had full information on what was going on at the top of the funnel, maybe we'd be able to wrap our arms around it. But just want to note, if we had full information at the top of the funnel, we would not only have to know what's changed on our ads, but we'd have to know what's going on in the competitive set. Because sometimes nothing at all changes in our business or offer, but something material changed in a competitor, and it pulls demand away from us to them. So we would need a really hardcore data set to really make heads or tails of this stuff. And generally publishers aren't thrilled about sharing that kind of detail. So let's move on to partnerships. So now we're getting questions from internal teams that we can't answer. So these questions can end up in the weekly calls with our affiliate partners. And it may be questions from risk, for example. Hey, why did early delinquencies change quarter over quarter from the Experian marketplace? What the heck's going on, guys? They may not know that. There may be things that the publisher changed or that a competitor may have changed in that ecosystem to lead to that different outcome. So we're posing these questions. The affiliate's struggling with answering our questions at a satisfying level of depth so that we can go back to the risk team and answer. Now, just keep in mind, at 301, risk and marketing are now in much deeper coordination. Sometimes risk folks are even on the calls with the affiliate partners. They're definitely poking around more, asking more questions. Curiosity levels are much higher here. Typically because now affiliate is a bigger concentration of our booked accounts. Whereas when we got going, if affiliate was less than 10% of our book and the loss rates moved in affiliate, like we don't necessarily see that at the top level of the portfolio. But if affiliate's 35% of our business, now we can't afford to not poke around and ask questions and dig deep to understand what's happening. But the problem is the top of the funnel isn't ours, it's living on the partner side. And contrast that with, say, direct mail, where we control every last piece of that top funnel. We control the message, who it's sent to, when it's sent, what it looks like, all of it. This can make people uncomfortable when we feel like a publisher may be doing something on the front end that we don't think is favorable to performance. And the partnerships team now is kind of stuck in between because the affiliate doesn't necessarily know the right information to provide. The risk team's growing concerned, or they have curiosities that aren't resolved, and the partnerships team stuck in the middle saying, hey, I'm not really sure here how to make each side happy. Okay, product. So in order to gain share in the affiliate channel, now we start building integrations with large partners. We don't always have confidence in what business value these integrations will yield, and that means teams working on them can be allocated to other work too. This slows down progress. And though the integrations are time consuming, we end up seeing benefits in our volumes and quality. But these benefits can erode over time. Our partners may tell us because other players in the market caught up and now offer the same thing. So we're generally talking about application flows. So when I think about product getting involved, think about the team that manages the application flow. So what data we collect from customers, how it's collected, in what order it's collected. Is it on 1 page or 2 pages? So there's kind of a fair amount of optimization we want to do here. And if we're a big player in a marketplace and we want to be elite, we want to be the winner, the player that has the biggest market share, we need to hit on every last detail of the funnel. So our click rate needs to be superb, our application rate needs to be superb, approval rate needs to be superb, and product generally plays in that middle bucket on application rate. So we might be plugging straight in to the affiliate and having them host our application for us, in which case we need to build an API to tell them the decision and communicate it the right way to the customer. Or we're getting obsessed with classic conversion rate optimization stuff where we're A/B testing the crap out of our landing pages and we are slowly but surely optimizing that application rate so that it's best in class. But this is where the product team was previously maybe tangentially involved in affiliate. Now they're in it. The GM or the CMO is like, look, guys, for us to get the outcomes we want here in affiliate, our application flow needs to be world class, and it's good, but it's not the best, at least according to the benchmarking we're getting from our affiliate partner. So gear up, guys, let's go. Let's make this thing really killer. So that's what the product team is likely to hear. When we think about hiring and team composition, we'll notice affiliates tend to be run by a mix of marketers, credit analysts, product managers now. And when I say affiliates, like the internal affiliate team that's managing the program. And here at 301, sometimes there's a single accountable exec that makes decisions for the affiliate program. And sometimes decisions run through committee where the CMO needs to be involved and the CRO needs to be involved. And there, I mean risk. Maybe someone in product and engineering needs to be involved. So how we make decisions could go either way. I'll talk about this at the 401 level, but I generally like models where there's a single accountable exec, sees all the pieces, and has the authority and seniority to just make the call and go. You end up moving much, much faster. You end up making better decisions. You end up spending less time briefing people that have no clue how a program or how a marketplace like Experian operate. Less time explaining, more time doing. So I like that single accountable exec model. The other thing on hiring and team composition, we're noticing, given the nuanced nature, specialized nature of this channel, we're at minimum investing in retaining the team, okay? Because we may not have hired people that knew affiliates up and down, but we figured out affiliates, we've been growing, we've done it more or less organically. But now our people, like our partner manager, the person on the risk team that's kind of partnering with that partner manager, those two individuals are kind of our hub here. They know the most about these channels, how they work, what makes it tick, what levers to pull. And if we yanked them out of the organization tomorrow, we can't be convinced that the next person we're going to hire is just going to, bam, figure it out and go. They're probably going to flail around for a little bit while they figure out the game. So retention starts becoming more important here. Cross-functionally, marketing, credit risk, and product are now working in close partnership. The person interacting with the affiliate partner now varies by project or task. So before, at 201 or 101, we were just always sending the affiliate partner manager, hey, go talk to NerdWallet, go talk to Wallet Hub, Credit Sesame, Experian, Karma, go deal with it. Now we're saying, hold on, that's a conversation for our risk analyst, or that's a conversation for our product manager, or that's a conversation for our compliance person. We are sending the right individual to go have that conversation with the partner. Oftentimes that affiliate partner manager is there in the conversation, but it's getting hard for the partnership manager the one owning the relationship, to keep all these conversation threads aligned, because we're talking about a lot of different stuff. We're talking about product, we're talking about offers, we're talking about targeting, we're talking about integrations. There's 4, 5, 6 threads going on all at once, and there's detailed tasks that have to be tracked. And here we often consider kind of bringing in a program manager or a chief of staff type role if there's a GM that's running this business. So those are some of the cross-functional dynamics. The 301 level, what I'll say, it can feel stressful, tense, uneasy. Given the larger scale of the affiliate program now, again, the difference between 5% of your book and 35% of your incoming book, more eyes are on it. So the operating team can get distracted from the important long-term work, the integrations, the highly tuned targeting model. These things can get lost because now they're chasing down questions from senior leadership around, hey, why did my volume come down 10%? What the heck? Go figure that out. So there's tension now between curiosity questions from leadership around like variance and forecasting and stuff like that. And I can't tell you how many conversations I've been in personally where somebody senior says, hey, look, I need you to predict what's going to happen in affiliate. And my reaction's effectively a nicer version of like, look, I don't know. Because there's like 8 things I don't control. And here's like the potential range of outcomes, but it's pretty wide. And it doesn't change the work we need to do, by the way. We need to pull on these levers, and that's going to give us the best chance of success. But like, if you're asking me to tell you how many accounts are coming from Experian or Karma, like, I don't know. There's just too many things that could happen that change the number. So anyways, distraction there from that particular corner of the world is becoming very real. Organizations can operate at this 301 level for years. I don't think sometimes they ever escape. But to escape and get to 401, which we'll talk about in a second, you kind of need to shed this unproductive curiosity around asking these like why questions. Why did this thing happen? Why did my volume go up? Why did this 30-day DQ go down? Like, we need to kind of like get comfortable with the fact that these channels have built-in volatility. It's going to be a little wild and swingy. But if we do the right things and we build the right products and the right experiences and we have the right targeting models and our funnel sings, it's highly, highly relevant to the publisher's customers and the friction is minimized through high application rates, high approval rates, we're going to win long term, okay? That's all we can control. And let's stop worrying about the forecast and the why questions that are backward looking. Again, this drives kind of CFOs and CMOs crazy that they don't have certainty in what's going to happen. But like, that's life in affiliate. You're not going to have certainty. But if you play the game right, you will have growth. But the growth will be hard to predict and it'll be bumpy. So that's life at the 301 level. Okay, so before we jump into the 401 level, let's spend a little time recapping the vibe we were noticing at each of the previous levels of maturity. At 101, we were playing checkers. The rest of the industry's playing chess. Specifically, we were looking at things like account volume, optimizing for cost of acquisition, but we weren't paying attention to account quality. Furthermore, the affiliate team at this stage was operating on an island, so they weren't partnering with risk or lending, product or engineering, analytics. They were more or less doing their own thing. And it's a scary place to be as a lender, to be that disconnected from the core of the business. And how the 101 story usually wraps is there ends up being a big risk event somewhere, either driven by one specific affiliate or just kind of the entire basket altogether. And we noticed that, wow, we acquired a good chunk of accounts here that weren't performing. As a result, the channel's either kind of profit neutral or maybe even a loser. And we've been spinning our wheels here, thinking we were making progress, but really we haven't built any asset that's durable or sustainable. So that's kind of the 101. At the 201, we paid attention to quality. We noticed it's important. And we start to have some basic kind of collaboration between risk and marketing, risk and partnerships. Analytics starts to shed light on early performance on the accounts coming in. So now we're watching what's going on. A big step forward but we don't necessarily know what levers to pull. And we're certainly not investing in sophisticated targeting models that will help us identify the users that we need to attract. And then at the 301 level, the mood here is kind of colored by overwhelm, stress, and really burning more calories than we need to get the job done, because we've overloaded now with information. We're starting to worry about all the feedback loops that are present, i.e. when we make a change, whether it be our credit policy or our CPA or our pricing, our product, etc. We're now aware that the affiliate responds, and then that response usually triggers a follow-on response on our end. So now we're kind of worried about all these things. We're paying attention to them. We're drowning in data. Leadership's asking all sorts of questions around variance and volatility. The operating team isn't doing a good job answering those questions. The partner is similarly frustrated with the volume of questions. We're actually now at a level of sophistication here where we're probably in the top quartile of the players out there, because we're watching the right data. We have the right team at the table. We're making moves. The problem is we are expending more energy than we need on unproductive stuff, like these inquiries around variance, which ultimately won't be answered to anyone's satisfaction because they're created by stuff we can't see on the affiliate marketplace. So that's where we were at 301. So let's dive into 401. At this level, we are likely now leaders of our category, or we're quickly rising to challenge the leader. We're treating each affiliate partnership as its own standalone line of business. And we're kind of operating with this very long-term approach to things. And this level is kind of marked by a pivot from lots of worry around volume volatility and trying to get answers and explaining every 5 or 10% of month-to-month variance, where we're kind of cool, calm, and collected now. And we're the seasoned investor now, where we know our portfolio is thoughtfully crafted. We know we're playing the right game. We're making the right moves. We have the right advisors at the table. And unlike the retail trader who panics when the market dips 5% or 10%, we've seen this before 100 times. We're not worried. We keep our eye on the ball, which is delivering an exceptional product to our customers and building a world-class marketing funnel where we're maximizing click rate, application rate, approval rate. And we are hyper-focused on articulation of all the levers at our disposal, and our MBRs are laser-focused. What are we doing about click rate, application rate, approval rate, funding rate? We are constantly challenging the operating team to move the needle in each category. And we know at the 401 level that when we compound those wins across the entire funnel, we will win in the long term. So we're less fussed about what's happening minute to minute. We've had the right expectation setting conversations with our founding team, with our board, with our investors. They know that this piece of our portfolio, when it comes to customer acquisition and affiliate, is going to be bouncing around. We're not going to nail our forecasts here, but we've built confidence in our strategy. Our strategy is sound. Our relationships with our partners are exceptional. We have data that give us indication that we are either the leader in our market or that we are quickly gaining share. So we've built respect and trust of the folks around us to keep our heads down and execute on the strategy. Okay, so that's it's a little bit of the vibe here at the 401 level. Another big observation here, we can call it a kind of an aha that we reach at the 401 level, is we notice each affiliate channel is built slightly differently. They have different algorithms, they have different customer types, they have different product experiences, and they have different assets we can deploy on our side to make our product better and our marketing funnel better. So we are no longer in a one-size-fits-all mode. We're probably hand-picking 2 or 3 affiliate partners where there's material scale or there's growth potential, where we say, look, we're not necessarily going to do the same underwriting or the same product or the same pricing we do everywhere else. We're going to do bespoke stuff for these channels so that we ensure we're winning and that we're grabbing the market share that we want. We're viewing each of these channels at scale as mini lines of businesses, and often we're staffing them with cross-functional teams or even GMs to run them. So let's kind of go now piece by piece here. I have a few kind of buckets I want to speak to more tactically. So if we think about strategy, we're just going to be committed to delivering the best possible experience for our partners' customers. So that means we're going to have the most competitive product offering, the best application experiences, the highest approval rates, the best reviews. Now, you're probably hearing this and thinking, wow, that sounds easy. That sounds obvious. As it turns out, it's hard to do, and it's quite rare. I don't see out in the wild all that many companies that are laser focused on building a bespoke experience and approach for their biggest 2 or 3 affiliate distribution partners. They may be doing things here and there around a targeting model, around an approach to pricing, around something on the back end model that they've adjusted. But rarely do you see an all-in approach that encompasses product, engineering, lending, partnerships, and is thoughtful around squeezing every 2 or 3% that they possibly can out of each step of the funnel, knowing that it can compound to a 20, 30, 40% better funnel, and thus kind of anchor them firmly at the top of the listing page. So that's what we're thinking on strategy. Analytics, there's a bit of a pivot here. At the 301 level, we talked about all the different things we're watching. It's a bit of a data overload over there. At the 401 level, there's kind of this observation that, you know what, competitive benchmarking is what we need most of. It's actually kind of the most critical because our foundations are built. We're watching the funnel. We're watching early delinquency, early reads on account quality. But we weren't sure at the 301 level how we stacked up against the competition in the field. Now we're getting very curious with our distribution partners. We're asking them if they can tell us what the average application rate and approval rate and click rate is, how we fare. We'd even love to see like a whole distribution plot of like, what's a top 10 percentile click rate, application rate, and approval rate? Why aren't I there? What are some things I can do to get there, etc. Keeping in mind that the marketplaces, the affiliate partners, do have an incentive here while protecting any confidentiality in their other relationships, do have an incentive to guide us to the right benchmarks so that we can deliver a higher efficiency funnel, which ultimately monetizes better for them. So our attention in analytics pivots to competitive benchmarking. So let's move to partnerships. So at the 301 level, we were hammering our partners with questions. We were probably keeping an Excel sheet with 10 different questions that either came from analytics or lending or risk. And we were kind of looking for data or observations to help us make heads or tails of like why our volumes went up or down, or why our loss rates moved, or our activation rates changed, etc. We're starting to do less of that now here at the 401 level. Reason being, we're kind of focused on big rocks. Like for example, if our application page isn't yet hosted by the affiliate partner, should we be having that conversation? Should we build that deep integration where the customer never has to leave the affiliate partner site and their information can be populated with the expectation that we're going to get a pop on application rate? So we're having that conversation. We're having strategic discussions on data. So we're familiarizing our partners with the data we use on the back end. We're helping them frame business cases around how our partnership looks different if they were able to source that data on the front end so that our targeting can be more aligned with our back end. We're having conversations around what other promises we can signal or make to the customer on the front end right up when we serve the ad that we could credibly deliver through a deep coordinated integration of some kind. For example, just to illustrate this, let's say the lender runs a personal loan business where it typically takes 7 days to fund the loan. But with the specific affiliate partner's data, let's say they could bring verified income to the table, for example. And let's assume that speeds up funding from an average of 7 days to 2 days. Could we make that promise on the affiliate site that says, hey, look, this offer comes with fast funding? And then when the customer clicks on the tile, it says, okay, fast funding is enabled here because this publisher that you already have a relationship knows you and can share what we know about your income with the lender, which is going to speed up processing time, etc. That's kind of just a made up example. But all that to illustrate, these are the conversations partnerships wants to be having with the affiliate partner. Things that are durable, long-term improvements to the customer experience or the product, That's what's interesting at the 401 level. The questions around, hey, look, why did our volumes go down 5% between March and April? It's kind of like asking Warren Buffett why the S&P dropped 1% yesterday. Like, Warren Buffett's not going to answer that question. He knows he can't answer it. He knows the answer to that question doesn't matter. He knows that all that matters is you have the right portfolio and the right long-term mentality to hold, because that's where you're going to earn kind of the disproportionate return. So we are thinking further out ahead, and we're keeping our eye on those bigger rocks with our partners. But that doesn't mean metrics don't matter. So we are still reviewing them monthly or quarterly with our partners, but we're just coming in with an understanding that growth is going to be bumpy, and that it's not always a good use of time to be running an inquiry on volume volatility. Okay, so now let's move to the lending/credit risk side of the world. So at the 301 level, risk is now definitely very involved. They are building targeting models. They are handing them to the affiliate partners. They're very much a player here in the affiliate program. They're probably very aware of results coming in from the channel. The thing that wasn't happening at the 301 level is this deep obsession around model alignment. In fact, at the 301 level, you probably don't even hear those two words, model alignment, articulated in the hallways. Because the view at the 301 level is we're going to put up a targeting model. It's going to take our approval rate from 30% to 62%. And it's fine. It's a big win. And now we're better off. And that's good enough. Like, what's the point obsessing in every last detail? At the 401 level, you're actually thinking, you know what? Hold on. Having an aligned model, perfect match. So the back-end data and logic are identical to the front end, down to the custom attributes, down to the version of Vantage, down to the version of FICO. And you've taken excruciating steps to verify that it's true. You've uploaded your data into the partner's data ecosystem so that you can match your score against theirs. I talk about this in a past episode. I think it was the episode 5 around levers. So if you're interested in that, go check that out. But in any case, we're obsessed now with model alignment, and we are probably staring at a roadmap now where you can articulate exactly the differences between the front end and the back end model. And we know what we're going to do for the next 60 to 90 days to address those small but yet important kind of misalignments. Because if we zoom up here for a second, you might be asking, okay, why the hell are we doing this? Maybe the 301 level was the right answer. And it is for some organizations, but for the organizations that want to sustainably live at the top of the food chain in affiliate, you are literally squeezing a percentage or two everywhere you can in your funnel, knowing it's going to compound and knowing that this stuff is hard. So practical example, if you're a prime card issuer and you have a 78 gross approval rate in your affiliate channel, you're doing a great job. You have a great targeting model. The thing is working. You're delivering a great experience for users. That is something to be proud of. But many folks at the 78% level, with the right strategy, might be able to get to 85, 90% approval rate by really optimizing everything that's going on the back end and the front end and matching that exactly, and basically custom fitting the back end model to the front end model. So let's just say you could get to 85, all right? So you're getting 7 points above 78% where you were before. That's a 10% lift over the second best in the category. And let's say you can squeeze out another 5% on application rate through optimizations and another 5% over the second best in CTR. So now 1.05 times 1.05 times 1.1, that's the compounding of what feel like really small optimizations. You are now 20% more efficient than the number 2 player. Why is that important? Because it was probably really hard work to get there, and it's likely to be imperceptible by the rest of the field. It's not going to jump off to the second in the category that you're in a meaningfully different spot. It might look like noise to them, but the affiliates data, when they look at how well is this ad converting, performing, monetizing, your ad will jump off to them. 20% better is not a trivial difference. And that kind of keeps your placements strong, your impression volume strong, your ranking strong. So this becomes a real thing. Model alignment is, no kidding, a practice area here when it comes to affiliate. In fact, it's a it's a place where I spend a good deal of time when we have clients that come on board and they're optimizing their targeting models and their affiliate programs. We spend quite a bit of time here on modeling alignment because it's kind of this hidden place where you can build advantage over your competitors in a way that's not that easy for them to see. Okay, so let's move to product now. At the 301 level, we had product involved for sure. So I think we gave the example of they were kind of tasked with optimizing the application funnel. So I think that's a very clear-cut kind of objective you could imagine handing to your product team. At the 401 level, it gets actually quite a bit more interesting because now there's product-to-product conversations happening. The affiliates product team and your product team are having brainstorming conversations, and you're starting to imagine how the customer shopping experience, application experience, conversion experience could get reimagined based on the assets each has on both sides. And just to give an example of what this might be, okay? Let's say we have a flow where the customer clicks on an affiliate offer, moves over to the lender, but now the customer has to, let's say we're operating in a category like mortgage or auto refinance, where the customer still has to validate information like income, prove their insurance, prove their identity, a host of things like that. So there's a real work and follow-up that has to happen on the customer side. So what often happens in these contexts is the lender is the one calling the customer, texting the customer, emailing the customer to encourage them to follow through. But in a deep product to product, like 401 level type conversation, the two parties are coming together and they're studying, well, how does the customer engage here? Are they still coming back to the publisher's website to check something out, maybe their credit score, something of that nature? And they're collaborating here to see if they can join forces in some way so that the messaging back to the customer is clean, crisp, and that they're helping that customer fund that loan to the benefit of both parties. So that's an example of kind of like a deep product exploration that might be happening at the 401 level. So we're opening up our aperture here to not just application flow optimizations, but we're thinking holistically around all the things that it takes to get a customer that clicked on an offer all the way to funding. The other thing that happens here at this heightened level is when we decide to ship something and we're serious about building it, there's a shared vision around that. There's shared goals around that. We know what metrics we're going to measure together when it ships. And here's our weekly project plan. And both sides are represented here. Lender has to do this, publisher has to do that. We're going to regroup at the end of the month to make sure everything's tracking and getting done. But this concept, shared work plans, shared project management, I would view as at least a 301 type practice, but for sure a table stake principle at the 401 level. So pivoting to leadership here for a second, I think I've mentioned this already, so not to belabor the point, but at this level, we have clear executive accountability for a given partnership. And that executive accountability may be different for different partners. Doesn't necessarily have to be the same person, but the exec operates as a GM for the partnership and has authority to make cross-functional decisions. So what we're getting here is speed, we're getting efficiency, we're getting coherence so that we're not going to a committee each time to get buy-in for an investment or to make a decision that can benefit the partnership and move forward. I've played this role personally in my prior work across my career and can attest to how much of a game changer it is on velocity internally. So let's move to hiring and team composition. So we've learned by now each affiliate channel has its own nuances, and now we are stacking our team with people that have worked at or with each partner in the past, okay? So we're kind of finding seasoned pros that have worked with Experian in the past, Credit Karma in the past, Lending Tree in the past, NerdWallet in the past, QuinStreet in the past. You get the idea. And where we have gaps, we're adding advisors or consultants. And the reasons, each channel's a little different, the personal relationships matter, and we don't want to waste reps and time relearning from scratch what the right hire or the right advisor might bring to the table right out of the gate. So this is the realization that last 20% of subject matter knowledge can make a big difference on our results. Okay, now cross-functionally, we've aggressively broken down barriers here in org charts, and we've done that to facilitate collaboration between the partnerships team, the credit risk team, marketing, analytics, data science, compliance, legal, product engineering. Again, the team feels unified in their goal that they're going to dominate competition within any given marketplace. At an extreme here, everyone's actually reporting to one person. So they're reporting to the GM of that partnership. That GM has the authority to hire, fire, make decisions, and mobilize work cross-functionally that would have been consensus-driven in the past and would have been slow, would have been difficult to coordinate. So what we gain here is clarity in ownership and efficiency in decision-making. Now some closing thoughts here on the 401 level. At this level, it's almost like you're running your own mini business for each keynote partnership. What does the long tail look like? You probably have a different programmer, potentially even different people running that long tail, or even maybe hiring an agency that just can kind of keep the lights on in the long tail and keep it moving. But you're thinking about product, credit, marketing, technology, customer experience within the bubble of that partnership. So every decision is a little different. You're willing to do different things for different partners because you know if you pull off the right experience, you get disproportionate output from each of those channels. So you're effectively tunnel visioned in your focus to make each individual partnership work. And we're reverse engineering our business to be a great fit for those partners. Look, for some, this level of commitment doesn't mesh with their other company imperatives. Like there just might be other stuff. Like there might be stuff you need to deal with in direct mail or search or other channels where you can't justify this level of people investment, GM, kind of senior level talent. And that's okay. I'm not here to tell you that's the only way to run affiliate. I am here to tell you I see some organizations running their affiliate business in that fashion. And I think the ones that do are going to be the market leaders in their category. Okay, so let's spend a minute or two here wrapping up this episode. I hopefully got you thinking around what you might consider doing differently within your organization. This is intended to be just really tactical summary of like, if you found yourself hearing the episode and finding, hey, I sound like a 201 or a 301 maturity level shop, and I want to be 401. What are some of the things you can do in the next 90 days to climb into that 401 tier? So number one, identify the channels that matter and run them like standalone businesses. 2 is be willing and eager to do bespoke custom things for each of those affiliate channels that matter. 3, strongly consider hiring a senior level GM for each of those channels that you've decided you want to treat like standalone businesses. I've seen too many times folks declare at the top of the house that this and that channel is important to us and we want to win in that channel. And yet they don't have the leadership and organization structure underneath it to execute. And that just too often doesn't work. 4, get seasoned experts in affiliate marketing, specifically within the lending context, on your team. You kind of don't know what you don't know until you get people in the seat that have seen a lot of the stuff that goes down in the category and can help you avoid some of the mistakes they've made in the past. Number 5 is make sure you have cross-functional teams at the table. We talked about all these categories. I'm not going to go through it again. This cross-functional team needs to be meeting weekly. They need to be on Slack channels together. They need to be going out and having happy hours. They need to be really spending time together and feeling like a team. It cannot be the case that there feels like there's walls between partnerships and product and credit, and that, the partner manager has to kind of drag everything out of everybody and almost be asking for favors to get stuff done. That model will significantly hurt your chances to move at the speed you want to move. Number 6, build the practice of monthly reviews or quarterly reviews. So MBR, QBR, and get obsessed with each and every lever that matters to your affiliate program. Listen to episode 5, levers. Check that out if you don't know what I'm talking about here, but you're going to need goals, plans, and metrics around each and every one of those levers that you identify that you want to work on. And then finally, make model alignment between the front end and the back end models a first-class citizen. Stop with the belief that your proxy model is good enough. Look, it is good enough to get you in the game. It is not good enough to make you a world-class lender in the affiliate channel. So think hard about how you want to staff that, how you want to execute that. So thanks for tuning in today. If you found this episode helpful, please consider sharing it with a friend, colleague, or on social media. Leave a review here on the podcast, or simply contact me with ideas and feedback around areas we can explore in future episodes. I'm always looking for content ideas. Thanks again. I'll see you here next time.